My name is Rani and I'm from the Fiji Islands. I've been living as a transgender woman for over 20 years. I've known I was different ever since I was around 6 or 7. Growing up in a village setting, I've always hung around my girl cousins, playing hopscotch, skipping, and just doing girl stuff. I hardly hang around my boy cousins. I seem to enjoy the company of my girl cousins, and because I consider myself as one of them. My family, they didn't take it very well. My parents, they really hated it. They disliked the fact that I was showing feminine traits. Especially my father. He would catch me hanging around my girl cousins, so I would get like the physical beatings and smacking. And as I was growing up, I was getting the punches as well. The only person that was there for me all the time was my grandmother. She showed me love and care and support. Like whenever I would get the physical beatings, she's the only person that could come and save me from my father. I was 25 when she passed away. And I only became to know after 2 weeks after her funeral, because I had no phone, I had lost contact with my family. So I out of the blue, I just decided to call my mother. And my mother told me, "Did you know that your grandmother passed away?" I just hung the phone up and I cried. In 1997, I was in year 13, and my parents were on the verge of their separation. So yeah, growing up as a young trans person, I felt like I was not wanted. I felt unloved. I go to school, I get bullied for who I am. I go to church, I get pointed at for what I'm doing. And at home, I get physically and verbally abused because of who I am. I just wanted to go. I wanted to be myself. I wanted to be Rani. I wanted to be me. People are always telling me, you cannot be you. You cannot be you. So I had to break free. So I left home. And that's how I met some sex workers at Sukuna Park in 1997. I saw how they were living their life. They were out there. They were outspoken. They were just being themselves. One of them was trans. And I said to myself, why can't I be like that? Some people tend to look at sex work and life on the street as something bad, something shameful. But I look at the street as a place where I helped regain my confidence. I helped build myself. The street has taught me to look after myself. No matter rain, storm, hail, I have to look after myself in order to survive. It helped me survive. It helped me survive, actually. Some of us on the streets are there to support their own families, to support their kids, to put their kids into school. And people don't see that. People just look at what we're doing. We are selling ourselves, we're selling our bodies for money. And in this industry, you gotta look good. So the competition could be very tough. I went to court once for soliciting for the purpose of prostitution. So when I went to court, I just told the judge, so you mean to tell me if you're gonna go down the road and if you see anybody on the street and you check their bag if they have condoms, are you gonna charge them also for soliciting? So the judge, who was female, she threw the case out. She told the prosecutor, insufficient evidence. In 2002, while working the streets, came across some of my sex worker friends who introduced me to work, where they invited me to attend a human rights conference. So after attending this human rights conference, I was actually moved and I felt empowered because I knew about my rights. Because all this time I've been thinking what I was doing is wrong. Being who I am is wrong. So while learning how to use the computer, I went on the internet and then I came across the Asia Pacific Network for Sex Workers. So I contacted them, I explained to them that I'm a sex worker from Fiji, and I just wanted to know more about what they were doing in the Asia Pacific region, since they were mentioning the Pacific. They were wanting to work with someone from the Pacific. So they invited me over to come to Phnom Penh, Cambodia to attend a human rights conference. And that opened so many doors for me. Attending this conference in Phnom Penh, I met sex workers from around the globe. After coming back, I decided to gather my friends, about 8 of us, and we formed the Survival Advocacy Network, and that's how the sex worker movement in Fiji started. We formed this network to advocate on sex worker rights in Fiji and to empower the sex worker community so that we could stand up and speak out, so that our voices can be heard, so that people know what's happening on the ground, so that people know the suffering, the violence that we face as sex workers when we work. Even though it's illegal, but still we are human beings. Having that breast augmentation surgery just boosted my confidence. Because when I came back, I was a totally new person. Everybody in the transgender community knew who Rani was, because I was the only one at the time here in Fiji who had undergone the surgery, apart from my 2 other people who have undergone surgery but they do not live here locally. But I was living here locally, and people are looking at me funny because of the way I look. And I've had some bad times. I've had some very good times too. I don't regret anything. I've lived my life the way I want it to be. I've had my ups and downs. I've cried a lot. I've laughed more. And I love being myself. My advice to parents with trans children would be to accept them, understand them, and love them. Get to know them. Only then it will help build your relationship with your trans child to become a more healthy relationship where your child would always feel loved being in the comfort of your own home. I would like to grow old in my village. I hope that one day I would own a beauty salon, also to help other trans people who are having troubles coming to terms with their identity or having problems with their families because of rejection, and finally to find myself a husband.